There was a lot of talk in the pre-draft process about how Jaxson Dart is not ready to play. Well, what we're hearing coming out of OTAs and minicamp, it fires me up. If you're excited about Jaxson Dart, hit that thumbs up icon. I'm ready to see this guy play in the preseason. I'm ready to see him show off what could be the next franchise quarterback for the organization. Yo, what's going on, everybody? You're watching Giants Now by Chat Sports. I am your host, Marshall Green, and with minicamp and OTAs in the books, we're seeing some early development for Jaxson Dart, and that's really what the spring and early part of the summer is all about, getting better and better and finding a way to be 1% better every single day. And according to Jeremy Fowler of ESPN, Jaxson Dart is already making major improvements. Fowler wrote this: I was told from somebody with the team that late in OTAs, things finally started to click for Jaxson Dart. As far as the mental portion of the game, learning the cadence, not just clapping, what Brian Daboll wants out of the offense, and decision-making. He then carried that over into minicamp, and that's what it's all about, man. It's your first days on campus. You're learning where the restroom is. You're learning where the film room is. You're learning how to digest an NFL playbook. You're learning how to watch film with Brian Daboll and Mike Kafka, Russell Wilson, Jameis Winston, and Tommy Devito. The spring for a young quarterback is all about getting better and better every single day. And the buzzwords for me from that quote were mental portion, because that's what the quarterback position is about. 99% of the quarterback position being successful is what goes on in between the years. And decision-making. When you improve your brain and you improve how to take care of the ball, that's going to accelerate how good you could be as a quarterback. And those were some question marks that NFL draft evaluators had about Jaxson Dart, and kind of rightfully so. Like, you go back and you look at some college tape and you look at the numbers, like turnover-worthy play percentage. It's a stat that I love to reference. How often are you putting the ball in harm's way? Well, his first year at USC, he did it 4.1% of the time. And under pressure, he did it 6.9% of the time. Then you see those numbers shrink going into 2022. Then you see a major shrink going into 2023. A small uptick in 2024, but when you compare the growth from 4.1% his freshman year at USC to 2.2, you cut it in half. You look at the under pressure turnover worthy play percentage, which is one of the most important stats for me in like analyzing and scouting a quarterback. How do you take care of the ball when shit hits the fan? Well, he didn't. 6.9% of the time he put it in harm's way under pressure. He sliced that into a third his last year at Ole Miss, all the way down, or in half at 3.1%. So that's good. I really appreciate that. And to hear it's already developing at the NFL level is awesome. And, like, to go back to what the pre-draft evaluators said, I don't necessarily think that Jaxson Dart is as raw as a prospect as some people suggested. I don't think he's as green and wet behind the ears as some people tried to paint the picture as him, talking about how he played in a system that was tailor-made for a quarterback. Lane Kiffin was telling him who to throw the ball to prior to the snap. And you can kind of hear throughout some really press conferences with Dart that he wants to put that to bed. And major shout out to Locked On Colts. I saw this video from the Senior Bowl of Jaxson Dart speaking to the media, and they allowed us to show this video about it. And I just want you guys to hear it because it fired me up.
There's a lazy narrative out there that it's a one-read kind of
offense. It is a very lazy narrative, yeah.
No doubt. You watch the film and you see that that's not the case. But if you could explain to everyone why that isn't the case and why that is kind of a narrative that is obsolete.
Yeah. Well, I think a lot of people will initially just compare me to Matt Corral, obviously because of the Ole Miss connection. However, we had two different offense coordinators. He had Coach Levy, who coached in the Bryles system. I have Coach Weiss, and their philosophies are very different. So I think, like you said, I think there's a misconception about Ole Miss's offense and all that's required for the quarterback position. And I think that once people will really just take the time, and I think the more NFL people I talk to, they've understood it more too, the more tape that they've watched. with all that's on top of the quarterback's shoulders. You know, we get in multiple different personnel groupings, do a lot of shifts, motions, play actions, you know, soft show actions, drop back, full field progression passes, mix in a few RPOs here and there. We didn't do a ton of it this past year. Got into a lot of empty sets, one high, two high reads, man zone reads. So, I mean, there's a lot involved in our offense for sure.
The system isn't maybe the most normal NFL type, but how is being with Lane prepared you for the NFL in other ways?
Yeah, I think that's an interesting comment. Honestly, because the concepts that I'm running here are the same concepts that I ran in college. And at the same time, Coach Kiffin coached in the NFL, so he was the NFL head coach. So he runs, you know, an NFL system. And then Coach Weiss also coached in the NFL with his dad being an offense coordinator and winning Super Bowls for the Patriots. So, like I said, I just think there's a misconception. The stuff that we're running here, it's the same concepts, just a little bit more wordy.
I just love the way that Jaxson Dart, like, as cool and calm as he could, pushes back and essentially says without saying, because this is how I would say it, dude, go F off. You have no idea what you're talking about. You have no idea what I had to do as a quarterback at Ole Miss. And the second question, he's like, I think it's interesting you said that, pretty much saying, hey, you also know nothing about what you're talking about. I played quarterback in a tough system, and it was a completely different system that we saw with Matt Corral. Like, you can tell Dart hates when people say those type of things of, oh, you played in a quarterback-friendly system, and pretty much it was Lane Kiffin throwing the ball for you. It's like, no, I played in NFL schemes. Like, my offensive coordinator, he's the son of an offensive coordinator who won multiple Super Bowls with the New England Patriots. Like, I love that stuff, and I love just the charisma and swag and confidence and juice that this guy has. Like, is he perfect? No. He still has a lot to learn. He still has a lot to improve, and that's what's exciting about it, because I think the mental, the in-between the ears is there for Jaxson Dart. I think the work ethic, the drive, and the hunger to be great is there. And I think is going to benefit from learning and sitting and, like, watching Russell Wilson be a professional quarterback and learning from Brian Daboll and picking the ear of Mike Kafka and Jameis Winston. And that's what I love to see. And, like, there's a lot to be excited about. And Jaxson Dart already has talked about how he feels like he has grown a lot and still has more room to grow. He said this recently. I feel like I've made tremendous strides, especially from my first day to now. Just being able to understand the pictures of the offense and whatnot. Obviously, I've dived into a lot more, but I'm just trying to take it to the next level over the summer. Just lock in, hone in as much as I can throughout this time, so that way, when I get back for training camp, I'm on an even better level than I am right now. And it's like, I know Jaxson Dart's working his tail off right now. He's probably watching film, probably trying to digest the playbook. So when his number is called, he is ready to rock and roll. And it's one thing to, like, have to learn and have to grow. It's another thing to know and digest and understand, like, I got to get better. I can get better here. I can get better here. I can get better here. And he wants that. And, like, he's being pushed along the way to do that. Like, this year is all about developing Jaxson Dart. It's all about development, getting 1% better every single day. It's about doing everything you can as a coaching staff to help Jaxson Dart be ready to be the week 1 starter for the 2026-2027 season, because ideally he doesn't play a game this year. He doesn't play a snap, because that would mean Russell Wilson is winning a lot of football games for the Giants. That would mean Russell Wilson did not get hurt, and he's taking advantage of his opportunities. Like, yeah, I want Jaxson Dart out there. I want to watch him play. I want to step into that new era of Giants football. But Russell Wilson is a better quarterback than him right now. And hopefully Jaxson Dart could be who Russell Wilson is one day, Super Bowl champion, 10-time Pro Bowler. But Russ is better right now, and hopefully he plays all 17 games, because that means they're winning. And if he doesn't, that means they're losing. And then you're going to get to see Jaxson Dart. And I think, like, if he had to be thrown into the fire, like, Russell Wilson on game days walking down the stairs and pulls a hammy like Patrick Seatman did in our Chat Sports flag football game last night when I threw him a dime over the shoulder. Like, if worst case scenario that happens, knocks on wood, it doesn't, like, I think he could play, and I think he could win you games. Would you have to dumb it down and lessen the opportunity for him to put the ball in harm's way and all that? Yeah. But I think if he absolutely have to, he could go out there and play, and it would not be a train wreck whatsoever. Daboll's been complimentary as well. That's his guy. That's his son from another woman, saying he has done excellent. He's picking up the information. It's really good to have Russ and Jameis and even Tommy, because Tommy's been in the system for a few years. And he's kind of the head statesman in terms of that and all the adjustments that take place on the calls. Jaxson Dart, he's fitted in right in with those guys. He's smart. He's aggressive with the football, which I like. And then the true test will be once we start and there's live hitting and preseason games and things like that. But he's progressed since he's been here to where he is now. He's made good improvement. And that's what you want to hear. Improvement. Getting better. We've heard people inside the building say it. Jeremy Fowler of ESPN reported it. Brian Daboll is now saying it. Growth, growth, growth. Sitting, learning, and growing every single day, which might be better than throwing him out into the fire. Like, I want to see him be the shadow of Russell Wilson. What Russ does, you do. Russ prepares. Russ knows how to watch film. Russ knows how to diagnose a defense, as does Jameis Winston. I think you can learn different things from Russ. How to throw the deep ball, how to be a leader, how to be a winner. Jameis Winston, how to throw with anticipation, how to live and play and move on after a mistake. And even from Tommy, learning some of the young stuff, young things that he learned when he was with the New York Giants. Like, it's already exciting hearing about the growth. We want him to be the best he can. And look, I know it's just a passing camp and there's no pads and everyone's in T-shirts and shorts, but I'd rather hear about development and growth than he's worse than what we thought and he's not playing well and he's getting worse every single practice. So I'm excited about it. I think it's big stuff, and I'm pumped up about it. I'm also pumped up about the 4th of July, where you can get your shirt today while also repping the New York Giants. Chatsports.com/USA Giants. That's chatsports.com/USA Giants. That link is clickable down in the comments and description of this video. Get your shirt. 4th, it's almost here. Make sure you are following me on social media. I'm on Twitter. I'm on Instagram @MarshallGreen_.